Everybody, to my Chem Honors class. This is Mr. Smith, and usually we talk about chemistry. Now today I want to talk about something that's a little different and maybe just as important here in the short term, and maybe even more important to you in your long term and in your career. It's because it's something that you do in all organizations, and you have to be good at this if you want to succeed at a high level in the business world, and that is planning and goal setting. So let's consider this. The following goals for honors chemistry. Consider someone with the following goals in honors chemistry. 90% on every test, pay attention in class, learn a lot about chemistry, and stay awake in class every day. Hey, those sound like good goals, yeah? Well, we'll find out which of these indeed are good goals. So, to answer that, we need some direction, and let's start a little achieving, I hope I spelled that right, achieving goals. Good. We could call that something else, but I think that's a good thing to go with. And the first thing we have to have are goals, right? Now, I think we all know what goals are. Goals are what? Things one wants to accomplish, maybe. Maybe that's a good accomplish. But when we're setting goals, not all things that we want to accomplish are considered good goals. To be a good goal, I would say that it must be a MAC. What do I mean a MAC? Well, it must be measurable. Measurable. That means I must be able to really measure it. Can I say I'm going to study some? Well, some is not measurable. If I say I'm going to study, oh, excuse me, that's an action. Let's say I want to get a good grade. That's better. I want to get a good grade. Well, what's a good grade? Is a 90 a good grade? Is an 80 a good grade? Is a 60 a good grade? Saying I want to get a good grade is not measurable, so that's not a good goal. And it should be achievable. That means don't say, hey, I want to get a perfect on everything I ever do in life, because sometime you're going to fail. It's just not achievable. And finally, on the other end, we don't want it to be an easy goal. We want it to be challenging. So any goal we make for this class or anything in general ought to have three aspects to it. It ought to be measurable, it ought to be achievable, and it ought to be challenging. So let's go look and see what we have here. A 90% on every test. Is that measurable? Yes, that's measurable. Is it achievable? Certainly for most of you it's achievable, and unless you are brilliant, it is probably challenging. So I'd say that's a good goal. Pay attention in class every day. Okay, now, can you measure that? I don't know. I'm not sure this is a good goal. It might be. If you can, after every class period say, yes, I paid attention every minute in class, then, oh, excuse me, it just says pay attention in class. It doesn't say how much. No, this is bad. It's not measurable. How are you going to measure this? Learn a lot of chemistry. What is a lot? Once again, a lot is not measurable, so this is not a good goal in terms of planning. It may be an admirable goal in terms of learning something in a class, but in terms of goal setting and action planning and achieving goals, we need something that's better than a lot. And then stay awake in class every day. Okay, now all of a sudden, stay awake. Okay, that might be challenging for some of you. It might be even achievable for some of you. And every day, that means we are now measuring it. Did you stay awake every day? Yes. Or did you stay awake every day? No. You can measure that. And so I would say that is probably a good goal. So I would go with 90% on tests and staying awake every day are indeed good goals. Next, consider the following action steps for a plan. I will study 15 minutes every night and watch all the lectures. Okay, well, let's go back here. Once we have set our goals, what do we need to have? We need to have an action plan. Now, what is an action plan? An action plan is what? The things that you're going to do, the things to do to reach your goal. Cool. So what are the things that you are going to do to reach your goal? Now, maybe we should come back here. One other thing about goals that's very important is that they are indeed yours. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Don't say, I think Mr. Smith wants me to get a 50. Well, not a 50. I think Mr. Smith wants me to get a 90 on all my tests, so I'm going to write down 90 even though I don't care. You need to write down for your goal what you really honestly want to get. This is not a case where you should feed the monkey, okay? Decide what you want to do in your life, decide what you want to do in this class, and write it down. And then when you write your action plan, write down the things that you will do. The things to do, the things that you want to do to reach your goal. Once again, don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what you believe you can do and will do to reach your goal. And among those things, I guess two additional things that should be here is, number one, it should be measurable. Your goal, your action steps should be measurable. You should be able to measurable. There we go. And we're talking about action steps here. Your action steps, and action steps make up an action plan, should be measurable, and when possible, they should have timing in them. So let's say your goal is to get a 90% on every test, and one of the things you say you're going to do is every night you will study 10 minutes. Good. Now, every night, that is measurable, right? You can actually see that. And study 10 minutes, it has some timing in there. It tells you how long or how often you're going to do something. That is a great action step. Cool. So let's go back here and look at this. I will study 15 minutes every night. Hey, that is measurable, and it is got some timing in it. And if you believe and really want to do it, then it's a good action step. You will watch all the lectures. Okay, I think you could say all the lectures. All is measurable. Now, what would be nice maybe is add some timing. I will watch all the lectures before the what? Test. You know, it's not going to help you to watch the lectures after the test. Well, it will help you. It'll help you for the final, but it won't help you for the test. So you may want to put in some kind of timing. When will you watch all the lectures? Or you may say, I'll watch all the lectures before each quiz, or something like that. So I would say, are these good action steps? I say the first one is good. The second one was not so good. Let's go back here. Now, what do we do after we set our goals and we make an action plan? That means we set our goals and we write out what exactly we will do to accomplish our goals. What do we do next? Well, I'm going to need to change colors. Extend the page. Woohoo! Magic. Good. And so we come down here, and what's the next thing to do? It's very simple. Work the plan. And what does that mean? Do what you said you would. Sometimes I'm challenged spelling wise. Do what you said you would do in your plan. So if you say you're going to let's do it this way. So here's your plan, and what's often nice is you actually have a checklist. Here's your plan, and here's what you actually did. So it's study, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You said you would study 15 minutes every night. So you write down, hey, 15 minutes on Monday, 15 minutes on Tuesday, 15 minutes on Wednesday. What did you actually do? Well, you fell asleep. You had a lot of English, and you did some other stuff. So you really didn't do anything on Monday. And then you said, oh my gosh, I'm behind. So then you studied 35 minutes on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you studied your 15 minutes. And so then you can look and say, hey, how am I doing with my plan? Oh, well, I missed this day, but I made up maybe for it on this day, so maybe my plan is okay. But you want to work your plan, and you want to monitor how you are doing against your plan. So that's what I mean by working the plan. Got it? And then finally, let's go here. A student whose goal was to get 90% on every test and planned to study 1 hour before every test. So that's the student's plan. What actually happened? For test one, she studied only 30 minutes and got a 70 on the test. What should she do for the next test? Well, here we go. Let's come back down here. I need to kind of have another line. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Let's extend the page again. Na, 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 na. And I'm going to call this analyze goals and plan. Analyze, reevaluate, evaluate. You might even put in here, analyze, reevaluate, and adjust the plan and goals. Good. So when you have a chance, after tests, after quizzes, you may want to go back and look at your goals. So what we're going to do here is compare actual performance with your goal. And if you are not exceeding your goal, then you have to do one of two things. If your goal is 90%, well, if you're not exceeding your goal, you have to ask this question, why? If you're not exceeding the goal, the answer is why. There could be two reasons. One is you work your plan, and it's just not working. So you work your plan, but the plan is not good enough to reach goal. Well, if your plan's not good enough to reach the goal, then you're not going to reach the goal, right? The other thing that might happen is you did not work the plan. You wrote a beautiful plan, said you're going to study for an hour every the night before the test, but you didn't study for an hour. So do you blame your plan for not reaching the goal? No, it's not the plan that's the problem. It's you who are not doing the plan. So these are the two big reasons why we don't reach our goals. Either our plan is not a good plan or we're not working our plan. So then the next question is, what do we do? So if we don't reach our goal, what do we do now? What do we do? What to do if we don't reach goal? I think you have two choices. Number one is keep the plan and reduce your goal. So if you say, hey, I'm going to work an hour, and you worked an hour and you didn't get your goal, well, maybe you don't want to work anymore, and you just say, well, I'm not going to get a 90% in this class by working an hour. I'll just set my goal at 80. So you reduce your goal. Another thing you can do is what? Keep the goal and develop a new plan. And the third thing, which I guess the first thing is, if you did not work the plan, then what should you do to reach the goal? Work the plan. So those are the three responses to what if you don't get your goal. You keep the plan and reduce your goal. You keep your goal and develop a new plan that is more demanding or more intelligently written. Or if you did not work your plan in the first place, work the plan. And here we go then. Let's analyze this. For test number one, she studied 30 minutes. She got a 70. Okay, here's her plan, right? And here's her goal. Her goal was 90%. Her plan was what? 90 seconds, 1 hour. What did she actually do? What's the reality? She studied 30 minutes before the test and got a 70. So she didn't reach her goal, yoink. And so what should she do? Well, She didn't work her plan, so one thing she might want to do is work the plan. Now, if she says, hey, I don't want to work the plan, I'm only going to work 30 minutes a night, then if she decides she's only going to study, 30 minutes, she doesn't want to dedicate any more time, then she needs to do what? Reduce her goal. She should say, I'm not going to make a 90, I'm going to start shooting for 70s, because you cannot expect to keep doing the same thing and get different results. If she works 30 minutes and gets a 70, what do you think is going to happen if she studies the next test for 30 minutes? Well, she's probably going to get a 70. So she either needs to change this number, change what she's doing, or if she insists on keeping that, she needs to change this number. All right. So that's really my planning in a nutshell. I think it would be helpful for you. In fact, in my class, I'm going to demand that you write up a set of goals and action steps. And after every test, we're going to take a look and reanalyze those and reevaluate. And by the end of the year, let's hope we all reach our goal. Ciao. Enjoy the day and life in general.